So usually I teach at a technical university, you know, in a hall, and this is much more official. So I'm just a little nervous, believe it or not. So I'm going to give you a little overview of Affinity Photo. Unfortunately, the guys from Serif who make Affinity Photo can't be here today or this whole weekend, so they asked for somebody to fill in and show you guys their product. And I'm going to try my best to do that. And my next slide, I have video with audio. So I hope you're ready up there. And we'll get started with Affinity Photo's promo video because it's pretty cool. So let's watch it. Or it should have audio. We'll pause it. Yep, I know. You would think I would know this by now, right? That was pretty cool. I'm done here. Thanks. As you can see, it's really feature-rich. I am not going to be able to talk about all of those things. I've just picked out a few features that you might find interesting. But first and foremost, Affinity Photo has something called personas. And they're like workspaces. Tool set changes, but it has everything you need for working with your raw images, including some chromatic aberration reduction, defringing, noise reduction, what else? Everything is practically there. Yeah, and we'll cancel out of that. The tone mapping persona, which I'm going to next. Once you click on this persona, it'll just start tone mapping whatever image is there. This is not an HDR image, it's just tone mapping it. And as it goes along, and once it's done, on the left side here, we have presets. They come with presets, but you can also make your own. So, and the last persona is called export persona, which is really cool. You can just drag over the image, they call them slices, and then you can export those images in multiple formats and multiple resolutions. And I'll actually show that again later because that's really cool. So, yeah. So those are the personas, the workspaces. One thing I like about Affinity Photo is that it has a flexible interface. The default interface is the merged mode, and you can drag out any of those panels and they'll be floating windows. But you can also have what's called separate window mode. So a lot of options for your space, how you like to work. Yeah, here's it slices again. Like I said earlier, you can just simply drag over the image just to cut out a section, and then over to the right, you can choose to export that same section or the whole image in whatever format you want and whatever resolution you want. So I don't know about you, but I have to create images for Facebook, Twitter, whatever else, Google+, and they all require different aspect ratios and different types of images. So this is really helpful because then I can export one single image, or I can export at one time basically the same image for all of those networks, right? So, live filters, this is really nice. There's a bunch of filters where you can see the filter preview. It's a live preview as you're going through and changing things. So this is a dark image, and I just want to brighten up the shadows so you can see it updating as I'm slowly going through. Mind you, this is a panorama. One of my first panoramas from the 2010 IVRPA, I should say, out in the desert. So it's doing a really nice job doing that live. So, and there's a bunch of these live filter tools.
Quick question, when you do that in Lightroom, you get a big line in between the stitching area when it gets together again.
I can hear you, but nobody else in the virtual world can hear you. Should I just move on? Yeah, okay. One nice feature I like is the defringe feature. It's really fast. Here's an image with a little bit of magenta and green, and it just took me no time to use the live defringe filter and get rid of it. But, you know those theta images? They have a wonderful fringing, right? And I edit my theta images. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. If you want to take the time to edit them and make them look a little bit better, you can use this tool quite nicely. So I've got nice coloring in the lights here. I'm opening up the defringe filter, and I can adjust the color of the fringe. And just by tooling around with the sliders, I can really quickly get rid of that defringing. Yeah, that's pretty much gone, good enough. It's just a theta image, so yeah, I find that really nice. The deghosting feature is quite nice too. Here I have a HDR image. It looks really dark on that screen. Let me see if I bring it up here. Yeah. And you see in this floating panel, I have the HDR image plus its sources, and I can just click on those sources and choose which one do I want to use to take out those moving leaves. Because I wasn't that smart of a photographer to do that. So I'm just using the clone tool, just drag over, and I've just added the leaves from one of the source images. Really quick, very nice. tone mapping is also painless. So again, I'll go into the tone mapping persona, open, and it just starts working right away. I have an old computer that I was making this on, so it takes a little bit while. And right off the bat, it does a pretty nice job. And of course, I can adjust any of this. And on the left side are filters that are presets that you can use, or you can, of course, save your own presets. And on the bottom here, I made my own preset, and I can apply that to this image, and then apply it to the rest of my images and tweak it as necessary, and I'm done. And that's quite easy, quite fast. One other thing that you can do is focus merging, and to be honest, it looked really cool in that promo video that I had to also do my own video of adding some images for a focus merge. So these are all the images. I just load that in, and it goes to town. We see the depth map coming in. And not bad. And I can go in and fix that even more. So that's that. Not bad, right? There are also in-painting tools or healing brushes. Affinity calls them in-painting tools. And they become handy, especially when we move into live projection. Live projection lets us view our equirectangular images in the player. So here's one of my panos, actually from a nice theater in Vienna, in the middle of a production. And all I have to do is go up to the layer menu, live projection, and choose equirectangular projection. And I get this crosshair that tells me that I can now spin around right in there. And maybe I find, you can't change the drag mode, so I was not quite used to the dragging. I can find my nadir. I've got a tripod I want to take out. Maybe I can fix the field of view a little bit. And there, okay. Now I'll go over to the healing brushes and choose the in-painting tool, or in-painting brush tool. And once I choose that, I can no longer spin around the panorama. So it's kind of frozen in that view. And I just make the brush a little bit wider, paint right over the tripod. And once I let go of the mouse button, it disappears. Magic. And so you can see, now I can't move around. What do? I've gotten a little confused about that sometime. Like, I want to move. Oh, right, okay. I go to Layer, Live Projection, Edit Live Projection. And now I can spin around and maybe take a few things out. Like I see this little bit of a mess over here, and I can just go in there and use the clone tool, or whatever magic tricks you know. That's me trying to get the clone tool. It doesn't work so well. Oh, it's very dark. I'm sorry about that. Okay. So another neat thing you can do in this live projection mode is to add some images. And I have a movie poster here that I've just thrown in. And we've got two separate layers. But first I need to position the panorama to where I want to put this image. So I'll spin around, and I want to put this image right on the side wall there. Select that image, and all I have to do is, resize it, move it over there, use the mesh tool or perspective tool, and it just takes me a little while to do this, so I speed this up. Yeah, you can do it with the grid or without the grid. Great. Apply that. And then I have to merge those down. Merge those layers down, and now it's stuck there. Go back up to layer, edit live projection, and spin around, and there, it's done. Image applied. Right. So that's it. That's all I'm going to show you because I think that's pretty impressive enough. Just a recap, in Affinity Photo 1.5, you can edit panoramas using live projection. You have live filters, you have a dedicated RAW editor, you have HDR merging, focus merging, or focus stacking, right? Deghosting, you can record macros, so that's just automating repeated tasks. Of course, you have your warp and perspective tools. And the dehaze and curves filters or tools are really nice. And of course, you can work in an unbounded color space. If you want to know more about Affinity Photo, you can visit that website there. It is available for Mac and Windows. If you want to purchase it for Mac, you should get it off of the Mac App Store. And for Windows, you can go to their website for a direct download. There is a free trial. There is no subscription. And the last time I checked the price, it was 54.99 euros. I think that's a pretty sweet price. And yeah, I think that's it for me. Thanks a lot.